Okay, hey mate, and welcome to the second part. Now we're going to talk about the chest compression. So what you guys call Josh Barnett chest compression or whatever, but it is the chest compression. It's a chest compression plus suffocation, or it's a chest compression plus a neck lock, right? It's a combination lock. So let's just say what we're talking about. So if leather goes down, this is the position I'm talking about. So here, right? And then I'm going here and then try to submit him. And then there's a lot of things you guys did, like, insufficiently, not necessarily wrong, but insufficiently, which, allows him to breathe, and then that's why he's not like tapping. Now, before we get to the actual lock, let me just say the disclaimer first. This lock works best when he's tired, okay? Like, when he's not tired, he only needs this much oxygen, which means my technique should be almost perfect in order for him to like not be able to breathe. So if he's breathing this much and my technique has gaps, then he doesn't need too much oxygen, because this is how much I'm suffocating him, and he only needs this much oxygen. But if he's tired, so let's say after 5 minutes of wrestling or 10 minutes of MMA, he needs this much oxygen, and if I can decrease the oxygen level to here, even with a poor technique, then he's tapping no matter what. So that's why you saw like Josh Barnett doing it only at the end of the match, not during the match, because obviously not only the technique have to be perfect, but also if he's moving around and stuff, he's getting pockets of air, he might get some oxygen in between. So you want to do it when the guy is tired. And I'm not using any arm power anyway, I'm using just the body weight, so my body weight is the same at the end of the match or at the beginning of the match, but his need for oxygen is going to be much more during the end part of the match, right? So what I mean is that it's not one of those techniques where you go like, hey man, I saw this YouTube video, let's try this technique out. Because one, your technique is not perfect, so there's pockets of air. Two, he's not tired, so he only needs a little bit of oxygen. So now, that's not to say that with the perfect technique, I can decrease the oxygen consumption to 0. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is like how to make it to 0. First of all, if Lazen lie down, please. Like, first of all, what I want to do is to get the proper spot, right? I don't want to have any gaps here, and this is what you guys did right as well. Like, you want to went all the way in here, okay? You don't want to have any gaps. You don't want to be like doing this. You want to be like all the way inside here. That's number one. And you guys did that one very well. Number two, I don't want to be like lying over here or even in the center. I want to be a little bit like more towards this one chest here, kind of like pushing towards his center, but from one chest side. So I'm not going to be like center like this. I'm going to be like here. And Lezen can tell me, like, this is much tighter, like if you can talk.
This is not comfortable.
Compared to this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right? 6. Just by changing my butt, almost touching the ground, that's already way more tighter. So these two, you guys almost got it. This one, you got it right completely, and then the second, this one, there, you didn't really talk about it, but it was chaputuo, like approximately good. But what you guys did wrong was what this arm does. So number one, you had way too much gap here. So you had it on the crook of your elbow here, which means there's a lot of gap. You want to have it all the way deep there. Okay? Number two, you don't want to have it on his neck like this. You want to have it on the crown of his head like that. Right? So deep as possible on the crown of his head. That's how you get very, very tight lock. Now, how to get it very deep? There is like, I can do it like off the sag, like right, like for example a sag, like we're here wrestling, and I'll just shoot my hand in, and I'll just drop, and now you see like it's very deep. And sometimes there's still a gap. Although it's much deeper than normal, but sometimes there's still a gap. I can just lift the head and just go deeper, no problem. Okay? Or I can do what Josh Barnett did, is just like loop around. You'll see that he'll do that in the match. He's looping it around. When you're looping it around, you can actually get it much deeper. So what I really want is just to get it deep. There we go. And then, again, not on the neck, on top of the head. Right? So, can you go back here? So, get your butt in, get the right spot, not too high, get this one deep, and on top of the crown of the head. Now we're in a good spot to start. Now, it depends on where this hand is. This hand is in, it's gonna be more suffocation than normal. If this hand is out, he can actually breathe easier, but there's gonna be more of a neck lock involved. Either way, their chest compression is gonna be there all the time. So this is how it's gonna look. Look, get it deep, and then on top of the crown of the head, lock, and start rolling. Which one was that?
It was chest compression. I definitely felt the crank as well, but it was more about chest compression.
Right. So like I said, there is a neck lock involved or suffocation, depending on which one he can look towards me, in which case he's got to get more suffocated towards my body. So there's a chest compression, he can't breathe, and there's suffocation, he can't even double breathe. Or he can look away, in which case he's gonna get this catch wrestling neck lock, where when you cross face the guy here, and then you just push it down. Let go of your hands so they can see. There you go. So what I'm doing is that he's looking away, and I'm pushing this head towards his chest. Like Lezan can move his head this way very easily, but if he looks this way, he can't push that crown of his head down anymore. So one of the easy submissions from here is just boom, boom, and then there. Or if you do it from a single leg, sorry, it's gonna go a little bit different, but a single leg takedown, he goes for a single leg, his head is on the outside, I'm just gonna cross face and then go back down and finish right here. Right, that's a neck lock. Now, that same neck lock, I'm gonna do wild chest compression. So go down, please. So again, four things. You got go deep, just enough so that your finger can even cross. But I'm in the air, but even my finger cannot be underneath my ass. I'm not gonna be here. Just enough. The lower you are without touching the ground, the heavier you actually become. Then be on the top of the crown and deep as possible. So 4 things you have to remind yourself. So here, higher, deep. And now I'm very much deep. Put my butt lower, and now I'm ready to go. I'm rolling towards this shoulder, towards his belly button. So change my arm, tight, and start going.
That was the neck.
That was what we
That was the neck. That was the neck.
That was the neck lock,
I would
right?
if I would have tolerated the pain, I know it would have been a chest compression, but it was like a good, good twist.
The more he twists this way, the more neck lock he's gonna get. The more he twists this way, the more chest, suffocation. And somewhere in between, he's not gonna get neither of them enough that he's gonna tap off those. He's gonna get chest compression. So let's do this one first. Let's get the suffocation. Suffocation looks like this again, very deep, butt down. Get that arm high, and now just get it here and. So
Actually, there's one more thing you didn't mention. There's also a lot of pain because you're very sensitive in this area. Just by he's compressing, that all hurts.
Yeah, that hurts his face as well. But what it is also it drives his whole mouth and nose towards my armpit while he's getting chest compressed. So there's suffocation and chest compression on top of that. So now we got the neck lock, we got this one. Now let's go somewhere in between. This is difficult to do, by the way, guys. It's very difficult to do showing you only the chest compression, because whichever I do, he's always gonna get one of the, either suffocation or neck lock. So let's try to make it only the chest compression. Let's move it like optimal position. So here, deep in. Now once it's deep enough, I'm gonna get and then I start rolling. And then I stop. Which one?
Breathing.
So which one is that?
Breathing. I can't breathe, because it folds me. I fold like a straw. I can't get enough air, and it's hurt. I'm not getting air in. I can get the air out, but not back in.
Yeah, exactly. He can breathe out, but he can't breathe back in. And why it works is because look, I'm rolling him, and it's not just pushing this way or down. It's also rolling him like diagonally, like 45-degree inwards. It's like deep this way, kind of like he's going this way, and this way, all at the same time. That's the roll is going to cause that. And that's why he can't breathe. It's not my body weight which is doing it. It's his own roll which is doing it. Okay, that's one of the common misconceptions, is that you have to be heavy to be in order to pull, because everybody thinks you're actually putting body weight. Yes, that body weight makes kind of like unable him to move, because my body weight is on top. But what really kind of like does the chest compression is his roll, because once we roll enough, we can't expand our chest anymore. And that's what really it's all about. Now, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? In other words, what if you do something wrong? Well, then we're gonna go to our secondary, which is even more powerful. Now, don't get me wrong, this works against everybody, and we're gonna, have a small girl, our camera woman coming to show you that later. But let me talk about first the secondary first. If you do something wrong and it doesn't work, so let's say I got there's too much gap. This is the most common mistake. There's too much gap here, and the guy is just not tapping. And one other common mistake is my butt is too high. It should be it looks like it's almost touching the ground, but it's not. Like my finger cannot even go underneath my butt. That's where you want to be. But if I get it wrong, again, I can always switch. So look, lift the head, and then I'm going to go deep with the other arm, and then I get this one. This is super powerful. This is even more powerful than the previous one. Which one is that?
That was paid more.
Neck lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his head turned. So see what I did there? When I went in, I turned his head. So this arm is turning his head. And that way I can already get the neck lock. No matter what, that's a neck lock, right?
Yeah.
That was the neck lock. Now, if he doesn't turn, again, oh sorry, I need to get it there. So I'm not going to turn him this time. So let's just go. And you can hear from my voice, I'm not using any power, because I'm just rolling over it. Which one was that?
That was there. That was like a pair.
Because of suffocation or chest compression?
Chest compression.
Yeah, you see? So what I'm doing is, I'm not cranking his head. I'm rolling. I'm like rolling him like a carpet. That's the chest compression part. Now, just so you know, I'm 65 kg. That's like 145 pounds for you American guys. And then Lizan is about...
close to 80 kg, so what's that, like 160, 170 pounds,
I think it's more than 170. It's like
I'm not
175,
sure.
177 or something.
Okay.
So there is almost like 30 pounds difference between us. But hey, it's much bigger, but it's not as big as you guys want to. So we're gonna bring the camera woman shortly. But just before she comes, let me just say, the first one works very well if you get everything correct. If it doesn't work, you can always switch your arm to the second one. So again, what I did was I switched my arm from here to top of the crown, like there, and now I go in. Now it's really on top of the crown. And now, again, holding his head or my bicep, doesn't matter. It's the roll. It's the slow roll, which is not, you can hear from my voice, I'm not using any power. Which one was that?
That was the, I'll say, chest compression.
Chest compression, yeah. And guys, it's never only chest compression. It's chest compression plus suffocation, or chest compression plus neck lock.
You give up to either of them. It's just, if you have a pain tolerance higher, you will how to say, tolerate that. But in the end, one or the other is going to get you.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is that you in practice room, you might actually tap to the leg lock or the suffocation, but well, suffocation you're gonna tap in anyway because you can't breathe. But neck lock, sometimes you might not. Although it is a proper neck lock, it actually breaks the neck if you actually yank it all the way. But if you don't get it deep enough, there's a chest compression always there because of the roll, not because of the body weight. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. Now let's get Shimin here. If Shimin can do it, you want to do it to you? It's even different, or you can do it to me. So let me take the camera here. This is our Shimin. Say hello to the camera. She's about 52 kg. That's about 115 pounds for you American people. So go ahead, do the first one for. So again, remember the second variation where we switch our arms is actually more powerful. But let's get the first one first. And Shimin has short arms as well, so it's difficult for her to actually do this first variation. But you'll see, get the butt a little bit lower. There you go. Get it right deep, the hand deep. There you go. And now you can roll on top of his crown of his head, and then top crown of his head. Don't change your hand right now. Don't change your hand. Yeah, go on top of the crown of his head and start rolling. Okay, and start rolling. Roll, roll, roll. Yeah. Now, there was a tap. I don't know. The camera didn't see.
Yeah, it was that.
So which one was it?
That was, like I said, both, but that was the air. I got lack of air this time.
Yeah, and right now Shiming is, being nice to Lezan, and he's not putting it between her chest. That's the way she can suffocate him as well. But she was not doing that. But you saw, she just rolled it. She wasn't doing any too much damage. So do it one more time. Again, get it all the way deep. So here's the first part, very deep. Second part is that her butt is just barely touching the ground. The third part is that arm is going to go as deep as possible. And then the fourth part is that she's on the crown of the head. Now see, the neck is here and the crown of the head is there. So now when she goes to bicep grip, and then she figure fours her hand and starts rolling her shoulder, roll, 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 roll. And you got the tap.
That was great.
Yeah, but can you breathe? Even though it's a crank, can you breathe?
Yeah, I could breathe, but it was getting, like, she was going towards the right position, but I tapped out of the
Before that, yeah. So there was a neck lock which enacted earlier before the chest compression enacted. But if you would have continued,
Eventually, I would have got.
Yeah.
Hear that from my I'm trying to breathe out so that you guys can follow my breathing. That way you can sense, and that's how you should practice this.
right now, let's take it one notch higher. Let's go for the secondary, which is the switching your arms, which is going to make it even more powerful. So do that. So get everything first properly. Okay, butt low, the hands deep, get it deep, and now whenever you're ready, you switch your arms. So 1, 2, and then start rolling.
That was suffocation.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, very fast, right?
Yeah, that was like
Yeah,
straight in the face.
and it's not so much that is, if you get that feeling that can I not breathe, then most likely you're doing something wrong. When you can't breathe, you know you can't breathe, right? You really know, like you can't, you're trying to breathe air in, but it's just not coming in.
The panic will hit in quite fast because you can't breathe.
Right.
Therefore you go,
Now, Shimin, can you come back here for a second? So you saw it, it actually works. The 115-pound girl, that's 52 kg girl, versus an 80 kg guy. That's like almost twice his size. So it does work if you do it right. Every technique, every detail should be right. Now, I forgot to mention one thing. Lezan can actually bring this arm in and like bother me. So this, right? Normally he doesn't want to be here. Normally he wants to hug me, because if he does bring that hand in, if he brings that arm in, I can at any point now start going to my locks, right? 1 or just, 2. Obviously even here I can always do this lock, this one where the elbow lock, there's a, hold me tight please. There's an elbow lock here. There's an elbow lock there. So I can do all of those. But normally speaking, they want to keep the hand here. They don't want to bring it out because I can start attacking all this kind of stuff, right? But if they know I'm going to do this chest compression, there's two things they do. One is they bring this hand in and start bothering you, in which case you just push it a little bit and then loop your hands even more. Now you get it even tighter, because now his arm is suffocating himself. Yeah, where did you tap there?
That was suffocation.
Suffocation, right? I
tried to cheat by creating space, but it didn't help.
Yeah, so I didn't even roll yet. He already suffocated because that arm was right in front of his own nose. So I didn't even manage to go there, rolling over my shoulder, right? That was, I guess, the chest compression.
No, you were still had my hands there.
Yeah. Very. The chest compression is taking the oxygen away. Suffocation is also taking the oxygen away. So together, there's really devastating. So for Lezan, it's actually worse if he brings his arm in. Not only I can do that kind of the loop, which what's his name? Josh Barnett likes to do, like the loop. But it also just allows me to push it away and then just lock my arm even here, or what I like to do, change to the other side. But you can keep it here, no problem. As long as you bring it on, you see how my arm moves on top of his crown. and like looking at my watch. That's why it moves on top of his crown and then start rolling. And you get it. Which one?
No, it's just compressed. But I did like this time, but yeah, it was just compressed.
So he doesn't want to bring that arm in. Another thing what he might do is he might lock my legs from there, boom. And you know what, this is like Barnett territory, right? So I have my thing here and he locks that leg in, no problem. Just get the Barnett and then just squeeze again. Notice I'm not rolling all the way here. I'm keeping the pressure on the right spot and I'm extending my arm while I'm putting the pressure on the right spot.
That's a strict compression as well.
Yeah, this one is super nasty because it's coming from both. The roll is coming from both sides. What you guys did wrong is you guys kind of like rolled too much this way, and then the pressure was on his belly, where it should be kind of on his chest, and he's just like rolling the guy like that. Okay, so I just wanted to put those two in because those are the kind of like two common responses for this chest compression, and. Yeah, man. Hope you guys got the details right, or you know, whoever is watching, got the details right, yeah. And I hope we made our point. You know, it does work against guys literally twice your size. Although this time we didn't have 2 times your size, but you know, 1.5 times your size. And I personally have done this against 100 kg guys, which are 2 times my size. Yeah. It works, but you have to remember again. Do it a little bit towards the end of the match. Even if I get my perfect technique, there's always room for him to move left, move right, go up and down, twitching, and that way he can get pockets of air. So he might get this much air. If his need of air is this much, then he's gonna be, you know, suffocating no matter what, or chest compression no matter what.
Actually, one thing in my opinion, that the bigger the guy is, the easier it is, because he's like a fatter guy, so you can reach much easier. You don't need to. Sometimes when they're skinny, it's hard to get like tight grip, but the fatter and bigger they are, actually, the easier they tap to this, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's my experience.
Yeah, and a lot of time they also need more oxygen as well. Yeah. And because they're kind of fat by themselves, their muscle come in front of their mouths and covering that. I feel that the only problem with this is that when you have short arms, and you can't lock it to a bicep grip or this figure 4 grip, and you can't roll, then it's gonna be a bit of a problem, like because you have to hold a gable grip or an Indian grip or something like that, or even butterfly grip, and you might tire your hand out. This one will never tire your hand out. You just roll. That's kind of like the most powerful grip. That's the only kind of caveat I could say. Having said that, I do finish it a lot with gable grip or even Indian grip, as long as you get it on top of the crown of the head and then roll it properly, you can still finish it. But it's just, you might, you know, be tired at the end of the round. So too tired to actually like hold it tight.
But that's the one thing, like people make the biggest mistake is that they catch it and they always pull it. You have to really emphasize on that. No matter how tired you are, you just get the grip and use the body to turn. Like that's how people get tired, and then they give up on this technique because they can't execute it properly.
Yeah, and also I feel like a lot of people, they watch the videos from YouTube and then they just like, you know, monkey say, monkey do. They just like imitate that. They don't get the details right, and then, you know, it doesn't work at all. It's a big man move, it's a fat man's move or whatever, because they think it's about the body weight going to the chest, not about the roll, which is gonna compress his own air. I can almost like imitate, if you lie down please, like I can almost imitate the whole thing by just trying to like, I try to like do like this. Can you feel it? Yeah. Can you feel like how you can't breathe like so easily? Yeah. Like tap with the other arm so they can see. Like you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm. Why did you tap?
That was a lot of pain, much more pain. Let's put it out, because you're using weight, but there was definitely compression, chest compression.
Like I'm basically pulling Leson's leg inside while I'm pushing his head forward. It's like roll. That's you guys got to get that right. Man, I think we emphasized it enough. Okay, hopefully everybody got it. Like, you know, after 20 times of emphasizing, you know. Sorry about this. We're not very good at making videos. It's our first time. So, yeah.